This is Defense Politics Asia, and welcome back to the coverage of the Niger crisis. And a few major things had happened. Niger is going to investigate and basically charge the former president for treason, high treason. Uh, ECOWAS is struggling to even do their military campaign or operation into Niger because of various issues, and Nigeria is also having some political situation. So let's go into it. Go into this. Uh, let's start off with what I just mentioned. The headline. Basically, the Niger Junta has decided to put the ousted president on trial for high treason. So the Colonel Major Amador Abramane, basically this is the former president, he said on national TV that they have gathered the necessary evidence to prosecute before a competent national and international authorities of the president and his local and foreign accomplices for high treason, for undermining internal and external security of Niger. And technically, if found guilty, it's actually a death penalty. So the junta have announced, and the announcement said that the high-ranking Western of African politicians and their international mentors have made false allegations in a bid to justify military intervention in Niger. So basically, the whole narrative now is that the junta say that they overthrew the president because he is corrupted and he conducted treason. And let's see how this goes. And finally, there is a delegation that actually, there's another delegation. This different from the rabbit. This another delegation. This is a big one. Coming from Nigeria, and they led by the head of the Islamic movement. They met with the military junta, Sheikh Abdullahi Balalau, a prominent Islamic scholar, as well as the leader of the Izala Salafist movement in Nigeria, met with the Coup leaders, Tchiani, and also the Prime Minister, the newly appointed Prime Minister, Ali Lamine Zaine, in the capital of Niger at Niamey. So basically, they have met. So the junta is very, very happy actually to meet this delegation, and Zaine, the new Prime Minister, say that they have agreed to have the dialogue. And basically, he added that the delegation will now go back to inform the Nigerian president what they have heard from this junta, and I hope that in the coming days, ECOWAS will be able to come and discuss how to lift the sanctions imposed against Niger. So it's a very abrupt change in since the last report. The last report we ended with ECOWAS mobilizing their reserve force, and suddenly we still have a lot of effort being thrown into this entire equation. So far, from what I've gathered, there's a lot of forces within Africa, and especially in Nigeria and all the other countries within ECOWAS, is against military operation into Niger, and this is putting a lot of problems for this military operation to even begin. So the Tchiani, the leader of the coup, basically says that he says that it was painful for him because the ECOWAS leader did not bother to even listen to their side of the story before they issued the ultimatum for them to give up the power back to the previous president. He claimed that the coup is well intended and they are aimed to stave off an imminent threat that is not affecting just Niger but also Nigeria. So they actually warmly welcome this religious group coming from Nigeria, and welcome their intervention, and they add that so Niger, the junta, add that they are open to explore diplomacy and peace in resolving the matter, but the matter is them overthrowing the previous government. So let's see how this goes. And however, the ECOWAS is not very happy about it, especially this guy, the ambassador, for Abdel Fattah Musa of the ECOWAS Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security. He is very angry, and he can't wait to become more powerful, from the sense I get. So he said that the Niger Junta will be punished if any harm befalls the former President Bazoum. He said that the Western African regional bloc cannot fold its arms and depend on the goodwill of the coupists after interrupting democratic order. And he claimed that, no, we are going there if need be to rescue Bazoum. President Bazoum, he's living in terrible conditions today. He's denied medical attention, even access to his usual food. Then he said the son lost so many kgs, so many kilos already. Although I thought the coup isn't that long ago. How do you lose so many kgs? Anyway, they are held in inhumane conditions, although they're still their own house, and so he's not happy about this. So basically, he's not going to hold back. They say the ECOWAS is not going to hold back because they're holding the president hostage. So I just found it a bit disingenuous, because how about the people? Why is it always just about the president? The people of Niger, I don't know. The no emphasis on him is ridiculous. So anyway, he didn't just won Niger, he even won Russia. That's the most hilarious part about this. He basically issued a stern warning to Russia concerning Wagner, and despite Wagner actually haven't even done anything in this entire crisis. So he said that ECOWAS exert its commitment to ensure accountabilities if the Wagner group violates human rights within the region. But like I said, the Wagner group haven't even done anything, and so that is another out of the blue kind of statement that don't make a lot of sense to me, I would say. And again, this Abdel Fattah Musa is the same guy saying all these things, and he says that there is concern about Wagner group's presence in Mali, and despite he acknowledged the bilateral arrangement between the Malian government and the Wagner group. So ECOWAS would vigilantly monitor any actions by the Wagner group that will result in human rights infringement and regional devastation, which is also kind of funny because if ECOWAS don't invade, then there will be no regional devastation as well. So it is, yeah. So they will hold Russia responsible. Basically, he said if this responsibility extended to Russia, he confirmed, yes, that's Russia. And so he's basically picking a fight with Russia, despite Russia haven't even done anything. So this just something weird. And then the only bullish guy in ECOWAS is not just that guy, but also Ivory Coast. The Ivory Coast president on the 12th of August basically labeled the coup people, the coup plotters of Niger, terrorists. He basically said that ECOWAS cannot accept this. This is not a matter of Nigeria versus Niger. He said this is actually ECOWAS versus Niger. And he said that the division that they have made, and he hopes that it will be implemented immediately, basically taking military operation. He said he personally consider this as a terrorist act, and he cannot allow this to continue. They must act. So this is very, very bullish. However, he's going to be disappointed because ECOWAS cannot even decide fully what to do. The ECOWAS Parliament on Saturday, 12th of August, divided. They cannot make a decision about taking military action. Some of the members call for actions. However, there are others that identified diplomacy and dialogue is the better approach. 22 parliamentarians are involved, and some members are against the military intervention, citing the economic problems that will face the people of Niger. So there are still some coup heads within the parliament of ECOWAS. So, but no, with no unanimous support, despite they already kick out some of the problematic members, I think this is going to be pretty difficult to follow through. ECOWAS then also postponed a crisis meeting. It's supposed to be a crisis meeting. You know, crisis is supposed to be urgent. It's postponed. So the crisis is not so urgent actually. It's so not that much of a crisis in that sense, because it's deferred. And so they did not exactly say why. They said it's indefinitely suspended for technical reasons, which is very funny. So you have to read, it's a crisis and it's supposed to be a urgent meeting, but yet it's indefinitely suspended, which means there is serious problems within ECOWAS to even decide whether this military action can be taken at all. And they say that the meeting was originally set up to inform the organization's leaders the best option for activating and deploying the standby force, which means this entire meeting is all about military action. So it's suspended indefinitely. It's very bizarre how this happened, and it looks like the entire military operation by ECOWAS is going to be jammed out. It's going to be jammed, and then the problems not just in ECOWAS itself. We can also kind of sense where are all these problems coming from. The Ghanaian opposition member Samuel Akudzeto Oblakwa, I don't know how to pronounce that. Basically, the member of the Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee conveyed to the BBC that the Ghanaian Parliament have not even been engaged to discuss these issues about sending military to invade into Niger. And he emphasized that the president of Ghana lacks the mandate of the Ghanaian people in regards to this issue about Niger. And he said that he said, at least this opposition said that they believe that resorting to military action is not the optimal course of action. So this is signs, signals of the things that is going against the flow of taking military action as in the region. African Union also have their actions. African Union hold this Peace and Security Council meeting, and they hold it at the African Union headquarters at the Ethiopian capital, Addis Ababa. So those attending, including the Commission Chief Mosafaki Mahamat, as well as a representative of the Niger's official government. So there is Niger people there in this meeting, but they are actually not from the Junta government. It's from the former government that was overthrown, and also representative from ECOWAS. So this makes this entire meeting kind of weird. This makes African Union actually sitting on the opposite side of what the Niger junta is, instead of being a neutral party as what African Union should be. You are the international body, just like United Nations. You're not supposed to take sides, and but this African Union meeting seems to be taking sides. They invited the former they've invited representative from the former government and ECOWAS, which is actually now outright against Niger, and it looks like, I'm not sure how are they going to unlock this deadlock without inviting the junta members or representative to this meeting. So it reminds me of the Ukraine wars meeting, where they have a meeting to talk about peace in Ukraine, but they did not invite Russia, which makes no sense. So on top of this, the new Prime Minister of Niger, Zene, his name Zene, made a very strong statement saying that Niger will be able to thwart the sanctions by ECOWAS. They say that this unfair challenge that is imposed on them, but they should be able to overcome them, and they will overcome them. So this is the statement of defiance by Niger against ECOWAS. They are not afraid of the sanctions, and they are basically asking them to come. So and the Niger also sent a delegation to the Guinea government for to thank them for the support. The General Musa Salo Bamor met with the president, the head of state of Guinea, Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya. Basically, they have met. They met. They talked. Thanked. Basically nothing much. But maybe they are also discussing war plans. Because for me, at this current situation, it looks like they are all prepared. They are all preparing for war. Maybe this delegation from Niger is trying to ask Guinea for support to maybe go to war if need to, because it will make them a lot stronger, and or at least provide some sanctions or whatnot. So I'm not sure what is the purpose. Definitely there is it's more than meets the eye, because you don't go to another country in a crisis state, in a crisis situation, and not have something meaningful. Just to go and say thanks is unlikely. It's probably more than that. So however, this crisis, so now we go to Nigeria. So just now we have go to different countries. Nigeria is also suffering. There is a loss of 2.4 billion Nigerian dollars. I'm not sure what's the currency, and basically this is purely on onion exports. So because they export 55 trucks of onion to Niamey in Niger, and they also export to Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, Ghana, Togo. But the closure of the borders, especially those that they need to cross through Niger, basically means that they are unable to do this transportation, and this causes massive losses. And these losses from border closure affects also other trades. The Arewa Economic Forum basically also sent a message to the federal government to open some part of the northern border, at least not linked to Niger, because they are having a weekly loss of 13 billion Nigerian dollars. So things are looking quite desperate. They say that there is what I believe I saw something to do with, I think I maybe over 2,000 Nigerian bound containers has been trapped, and there is causing unemployment. It will increase poverty, and basically the pressure is on Nigeria as well. This is not as simple as saying flexing your muscle, closing the border, talking about you're gonna go to war and overthrow these overthrowers. It's not so simple. There is other aspect of impact that is hitting Nigeria, and it's not like Nigeria is in a total peace state as well. So so within the government, within the parliament of Nigeria, the Labour Party, basically the third biggest party, have reacted to the plan by their president, the Nigerian president, who is leading ECOWAS to want to go to war. He said that the government lacks legitimacy, and it cannot have the honor to lead a Puritan force against a sovereign nation. Basically, the complaint is more towards, they are complaining against the general election. They feel that the general election within Nigeria is skewed, and as such, this president of Nigeria is not qualified and do not have the legitimacy to lead Nigeria into a war. So that is the premise by this Labour Party of Nigeria. The second biggest party, the PDP, which is the biggest opposition party, also came out against the president. But their narrative is a bit different. Their narrative is that they say that this is a conspiracy, that the Nigerian president purposely want to go to war so that he can declare martial law, and by declaring martial law they can actually clean up all the things that let me just read. There's ulterior motive by the Tinubu-led APC. APC is the party of the current president, to import crisis and destabilize the nation for political reasons. So they say that this will allow them to, let me see, provoke external aggression from that country, and then therefore orchestrate a situation to declare a state of emergency, which then they can cripple the judicial process of the 2023 presidential election, and then divert attention from the hardship that this ruling party has foisted on the nation over the past 2 months. And basically they say that the ruling party is orchestrating a situation of imminent danger of invasion or involvement of a state of war, so that they have the excuse to declare a state of emergency under the sections 305 3A and B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So basically, he have a point. To be honest, he have a point. So because if the leader, which he does seems to have project some sort of a dictatorial kind of a tendency, because he was too bullish, overly bullish and desperate to go to war. This before he even consulted his own parliament. It does feels like there is certain reasons why he want to go to war so desperately, and by declaring a martial law or state of emergency, he the person in power can have oversized power, and he able to do a lot of things that he will usually cannot do, including elimination of political opponents, like what happened in Ukraine, in this Ukraine war, where basically the entire opposition is basically gone. All effective opposition has been eliminated. So this could happen in Nigeria if war happened. So and going into the situation within Nigeria, Niger, there on the 11th of August, there is some supporters of the coup protested at the French military base. Basically, the usual, holding a Russian flag and everything, but it does shows that France is still not out of the minds. They shouted down with France, down with ECOWAS. So basically, it does shows certain parts of the population of Niger have this thing in mind, that they are basically fighting for their sovereignty. Going into the conflict, there are certain danger in terms of fightings that's happening. 6 Niger soldiers and 10 suspected terrorists was killed in an ambush in the town of Sanam over here. The jihadists basically on motorbikes ambush Niger troops in Sanam, and basically they have a firefight and losses on both sides. So you can see that the situation, on top of all this international intrigue, you still have local problems with jihadis that is still ongoing, and this does not just affect in Niger. The United Nations in Mali, they are trying to speed up their withdrawal because they are worried about the security situation over in the country, and especially with the tension between the government of Mali and the Tuareg rebels. And they are trying to withdraw away from this base over here, this base just off the town of Bur, and they say that they are expediting their withdrawal from Bur due to the deteriorating security situation in the area and the high risk posted to post to their UN soldiers, and there is a reason for it, because just the day before, there was fighting being reported at Bur. At least 6 soldiers died and 4 wounded. As the Malian troops are taking over the base from the United Nations. So this actually kind of is triggered displeasure with the rebel group called the Coordination of the Azawad Movements, the CMA, where they are Tuareg rebels that did not want the camp to be given to the Malian government. So fighting was reported at Bur. You can see it's almost right in the middle of the lower part, basically in the middle of Mali. So even with Mali, declaring support, military support, or so-called a war on Niger means a war on Mali. Mali themselves have military problems. They have rebel problems that they need to deal with. So as usual, let's end with a bright note. On a more fun note, Bazoum finally received medical attention from the doctor. The junta finally allowed doctors to enter to fix him, and basically the president had a visit by his doctor, and where the member of his entourage told AFP. So the doctor brought food for Bazoum, his wife, and the son, and the doctor said that he's fine, and basically he's fine. So he's fine. That's all. But part is, I just want to highlight, how bizarre the concern for his health and well-being is from the international community. So the UN Human Rights Chief, Volker Türk, basically have an official comment saying that he is extremely concerned with the rapidly deteriorating conditions in which the president's wife and son has been detained. He said based on credible reports that he received, the conditions of detention amounts to inhumane and degrading treatment, which is in violation of international human rights laws. But my question would be, how about people, other African, the poor people in Africa do not have enough food, do not have security? Aren't that more concerning? Other than just this one person, I do not know. So this is, so do the normal people do not have human rights? This is just very just weird. I do not know. The amount of love for this former president is unusual. Blinken managed to have a phone call with this former president, and basically expressed grave concern about the situation. But it looks like he didn't really do much. Basically, he's just like going through the motion, at least based on the statement that was given. He said that the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, assured the former president that the US will continue their dedication to finding a peaceful solution that can ensure Niger can remain a strong partner in security and development in the region. Basically, Secretary of State of the United States is telling the former president of Niger that USA actually don't care about his health. In reality, they just want to have a peaceful resolution in Niger, so Niger can continue to be a strong partner. Yeah, they say peaceful resolution. The US never say the return of power for Bazoum. So that is something very interesting, because if you look at the statement from African Union or from ECOWAS, their statement is more about this former president Bazoum must return to his position as the president of Niger. But United States did not say that. United States only say that, we just want a continued partnership with Niger. So I think the difference in statement is pretty stark. Anyway, at this point, you will probably have been updated. You are up to date now on everything that happened at around Niger, at least the things that I think is meaningful. And thank you for watching. let me know if you want me to continue to cover this, and press the like button, subscribe, and of course do share this with everyone. Like if you don't share, the channel don't grow, then these videos become not very profitable, then it's going to be hard to convince myself to continue to report it. But of course I feel that there's nothing much bigger than this other than Ukraine war, so I will still definitely continue to report it. Otherwise, there's no more income. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.